Throughout his journey at sea, Crowhurst shot film and made tape recordings for the BBC.
I have never put to sea in such a completely unprepared state in my life. Nevertheless, stipulations were that competitors would leave by the 31st, and leave by the 31st I did.
He also wrote voluminously in his logbooks, read here by Michael Jaston.
November the 5th, Tuesday. Rachel's birthday. Happy birthday, Rachel. Hell of a morning for me, though. I was feeling pleased with myself when I noticed that bubbles were blowing out under the port forward hatch. All the evidence was that the compartment was full of water. I cursed the people who'd been kind enough to help me stow ship, and I cursed myself for a fool. I swore the boat was a toy, fit only for the Broads, or the pool at Earl's Court.
The tapes were the public Crowhurst, the lone hero at sea.
I'm healthy, my spirits are high, and I see no reason why I shouldn't stick it out.
Racked by the growing awareness that I must soon decide whether or not I can go on in the face of the actual situation. What a bloody awful decision. To chuck it in at this stage. What a bloody awful decision. If I stop, I'll disappoint a lot of people. Stanley Best, most important. Then fringe people. Rodney Hallworth. The folks at Teignmouth who supported the scheme.
Of course.
This area is the most worrying. The cost will be increased, and the chances of large returns apparently reduced. If I can get Mr. Best's support for having a go next year, most problems would disappear. Or at all events, the major one would become soluble. In the final analysis, if the whole thing goes quite sour, I would have Claire and the children still. November 19th. Heard on 1 o'clock news knocks Johnston off southern tip of New Zealand. He's certainly doing well. Good luck to him, the swine. Radio contact with Claire and Stanley Best. November 20th and 21st. Foul weather. Had to heave to. Feeling depressed about hatches. Spoke Stanley Best on phone. November 27th. Spoke Rodney. News of competitors.
On December the 6th, Crowhurst started a fourth logbook based on a voyage round the world which he never made. His tapes maintained their bravado.
The badly played mouth organ is evocative of the situation where the human spirit is stressed. So it's not entirely inappropriate. Not that I'm under any great stress, but there is something rather melancholy and desolate about this part of the Atlantic Ocean.
Crowhurst also wrote poetry.
Keeping a sort of watch on sails by night. Alone. The rigging sighs a sigh of cosmic sorrow. For weeping doves that die may be tomorrow. On 12.7 by 10 to the 5, irradiated olive trees, a sigh to fill man's soul with melancholy. Waves, sweep away my melancholy.
On January the...
I feel a bit of a Charlie, actually, sitting here with this BBC tape recorder. I feel like somebody who's been given a tremendous opportunity to impart a message, some profound observation that will save the world. All I can do is stand here wishing away like a lunatic. Very, very annoying experience.
Save some pity for the misfit, fighting on with bursting heart, not a trace of common sense. His is no common flight. Save for him some pity, but save the greater part for him that sees no glimmer of the misfit's guiding light. The victims of that malaise grow used to little quarter, and learn not to ask it, drawing only upon what is found by chance. Out of their own resources they delay as best they can, the inevitable, exhausted, subsidence into the icy waters of death.
You vow that you will stop recording nonsense and try and get something with a bit more meat in it on tape. Seas. Well, they're jolly good. I have a sort of dialogue with the sea, based on a position of mutual respect, I think, I hope, which, to secure, of course, one must conduct one's dialogue from a position of strength. If there's any weakness, any lack of order, the slightest hint of slipshod procedure, the sea wrinkles it out, it ferrets underneath it and bursts it wide open.
March the 2nd. Repair float. No proper materials. Large sheet ply, large timbers, screws, glue. Also require oats, meths, rice, vindaloo paste. March the 6th. Towed into Rio Salado by Prefectura Nacional Maritima de Argentina.
At Rio Salado, Crowhurst repaired his damaged float and sailed away again into the South Atlantic. He drifted slowly to the Falkland Islands and filmed them for the BBC. As he hovered, for the time he calculated it would take to complete his journey to Cape Horn via the Cape of Good Hope, he took solace from fantasy.
By the time I was 20, I formed the conclusion that there seemed no justifiable reason to expect any assistance from God, if he existed at all. I decided man was evading his responsibility by constantly looking to God for assistance.
I'm drunk, you silly old circum, you're as drunk as a circumnavigator could be. Hey, I'll tell you something. I think the Director General of the BBC is probably at this very moment slipping some buckshot into his 12 bore, as it were. But why should I worry? That's the man, Donald Carr. He's given this lunatic Crowhursta a tape recorder, he has. And 74,000 miles of tape, you see. Well, what can he do? I mean, after all, he's got to deliver a load of gibberish in order to fill up the space, matey. You see? It is a terrible thing, but I think I'll just have another little swig of this butt here. Ah!
On April, the only person who was unhappy was Donald Crowhurst. As he approached the equator, telegrams, now Lieutenant Commander Tetley's boat, driven beyond its capacity in an effort to beat Crowhurst, had sunk into the Atlantic, and the choice before Crowhurst was stark and clear: truth or victory. If he continued to Teignmouth, he was bound to win the race and would be forced to lie for the rest of his life to remain a hero.
I was looking at some people on a passenger liner. I could hear the public address going on the boat. They were obviously saying, "There is a mad Englishman in a yacht. If you care to go to the rails, you'll see him, free of charge." Or whatever the equivalent of that may be. And I suddenly realized that I've been blithely bashing along, crossing ocean after ocean. I haven't missed people at all, I thought. But seeing them again was a tremendous pleasure.
Meanwhile, Crowhurst tried desperately to reach his wife by radio telephone.
Hello, hello, hello. Mike Zulu Uniform Whiskey. Mike Zulu Uniform Whiskey. Calling on board. Okay now. You read me, over. Mike Zulu Uniform Whiskey. Mike Zulu Uniform Whiskey. Mike Zulu Uniform Whiskey standing by on 8.7.
The conflict was too much for him. He recorded the last false testimony of the heroic mariner.
It's true. There is a danger that the way we live nowadays just poisons us with sitting down, worrying about our nearest competitor in our level of the pyramid, getting one across, the rat race, all that. Plus the extreme unhealthy way of life. I'm sure we're in terrible danger from it. And there's absolutely nothing like going to sea for getting rid of all the poisons, you know? The poisons in your body, you must get rid of them. I don't know what they are, but they've got to go. The sea is the way to get rid of them, I'm sure. I feel in tremendous shape. I've never felt so.
His log, however, continued. It recorded the gradual disintegration of his mind.
Why do I feel strangely at peace as I gaze at the sunset here in mid-Atlantic? Because I am clearly aware that I am looking at the peace and beauty of the environment that has cradled the life form carrying my intelligence. Bound to Newtonian time, my soul senses future freedom from this beautiful cradle. And I am nostalgic as a child, sensing he is about to leave home forever. If the shark rubbing itself on the top of the boat got me today, it still would not matter. The solution would not disappear so long as this boat was found. I would be sorry if the boat and the book went up in flames, for my impulse would have been lost. Mathematicians and engineers, used to the techniques of system analysis, will skim through my complete work in less than an hour. At the end of that time, problems that have beset humanity for thousands of years will have been solved for them.
The uniform whiskey, my Zulu uniform whiskey, I have heard nothing, I have heard
In his log, he completed his crazy rationalization for his own dissolution, suicide.
I was annoyed with the cosmic beings. In the end, I was forced to admit that nature forces on cosmic beings the only sin they are capable of, the sin of concealment. It is a small sin for a man to commit, but it is a terrible sin for a cosmic being. I have become a second-generation cosmic being.
Everything was worked out exactly. His death had to be timed to the nearest minute, and the truth, in the shape of accurate logs, had to be left behind him for posterity.
I am what I am, and I see the nature of my offense. I will only resign this game if you will agree that on the next occasion that this game is played, it will be played according to the rules that are devised by my great God, who has revealed at last to his Son not only the exact nature of the reason for games, but has also revealed the truth of the way of the ending of the next game, that it is finished. 11 hours, 17 minutes, no seconds. It is the time for your move to begin. I have not need to prolong the game. It has been a good game that must be ended at the... I will play this game when I choose. I will resign the game 11 hours, 20 minutes, 40 seconds. There is no reason for harmful.
Ten days later, Teignmouth Electron, with no one on board, was picked up by the liner Picardy.